Hey guys, welcome to the Hey DJ show. I'm your host, DJ Jimenez, and today I'm joined by Steven Ceballos. Steven, how are you, man?
What's up, man? How
Dude,
are you?
Good. Here we are. First, you're my first guest interview. Here we go.
It's about time, man.
Dude, it really is. For people who don't know, it's just a funny story. We literally, what time did you get here? You got here like 6?
Yeah, around that time.
You got here at 6 Eastern time. It is now 9:38 as we're recording this, and now we are doing. But we did go to Chipotle to eat real quick, but still, we sent. I thought I was ready. This goes to show you that when you think you're ready, you're really not ready.
Nope. There's always something, especially with anything video related.
Yeah.
Nope.
No. Oh my God. And so. For those who don't know, Steven, he's a cinematographer. I'll let him, So Steven, tell everybody a little bit about who you are, what you do, and all that.
So I'm a cinematographer. I work for a marketing company in Atlanta, and we do all types of. We do mainly attorney videos. I get to travel all over the country and get to film all types of attorney videos for different types of marketing, and it's been amazing. I pretty much have been to every single state in the country at this point. I mean,
dude, you should have a map. I just realized that you should have a map. Also, Steven and we lived together before for a couple of years. We were roommates. Yeah, I can't believe I never thought of that, dude. You should have a map and like put a thumbtack for every
I've been
state
told
you've been.
many times to get a map, and I just never have. But if I get a map one day, I'll definitely do that. I'm gonna start thumbtacking like
You're never going to though.
Probably not. I gotta have someone do it for me. My assistant one day.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But you like living with you. Even though we lived together, I barely saw you. It was crazy, and your hours are crazy. But you're in the cinematographer world. You went to school for it, right?
I did. Yeah, I went to the Art Institute of Atlanta. I went to the Art Institute for 2 years. I went to Georgia State. I tried to go there for about a semester. Didn't really like it, and then I came back to the Art Institute and finished up there. So that's where I got my film degree.
Yeah. One of the questions I wanted to ask you is like, and this kind of goes, I hear it's get controversial, but you know me, I don't give a fuck. So should people go to school for it? Because like, for me, like, let me tell you in my perspective, from knowing you, from knowing our mutual friends and all that stuff. Right now with this podcast, how I set it up, I learned literally 90% on YouTube. The 10% is like what I've learned from you and working with, again, mutual friends of like, oh, where should you put the cameras, how you should set up the light, what you should look for, the do's and don'ts. I only know a little bit. I'm not a professional. And then today, how we were setting up the podcast, and then you were still telling me tips and tricks. It almost feels like that you can get away with like not really going to school. So should you? I mean, me personally, I feel like if I were to advise somebody, I'd say, don't go to school. Go on YouTube. I learned how to literally edit and do very basic stuff. And I don't doubt that you can learn more advanced things on YouTube. I don't need to. So should people go to school?
I mean, look, there's always some benefits of getting an education, getting a degree, whatever degree you choose to do. I personally don't think that it's an absolute requirement. There's so many people that are in the industry right now that have never been to film school. And they've all learned it just by themselves and just by doing it and knowing the right people. Now, that's where you get the benefit from going to school, networking. That is the biggest benefit that you can get. That's where I got my start. And honestly, if you have trouble networking, if you don't know anyone in the state you're in, if you're really looking for an in, you don't have anyone, relatives, friends, nobody in the industry, maybe it'd be a good opportunity for you to start networking. I mean, it's good in that sense. But everything else, It's on YouTube now. It's
It
all over
really
the internet.
is.
You can really learn it by yourself and, ask friends, whatever, and start making stuff. It doesn't require much anymore.
Yeah. No, I guess I could say his name, Griff. So shout out to you, Griff. Like he takes great pride in the fact, and I'm glad he does. Like that, he actually stopped me from going to school or stopped going to school for camera stuff, and because I remember he was like, nah, man, he went to Full Sail, and then I was like, oh, I'm thinking about going to that school. He was like, don't you dare. And then he told me why and all that stuff, and told me about the professors. And I don't doubt that there are people who went to Full Sail and like you said, networked and worked on, good projects and well-known projects. But like, I think what he was saying was like the cost literally doesn't outweigh the benefits, and it's a statistic game at that point. So he stopped me, and then I don't know, I still kind of was looking into it, and then I was looking into going to SCAD, but like, stuff just stopped me. And I'm glad it did. I'm glad I'm on the road.
I'm glad you didn't go, man.
I actually have a friend, an old coworker. She went to the Art Institute, and my cousin, he was thinking about going there to do culinary, and Roberto. And she, like, I remember taking a picture on Snapchat, like, oh, I'm at the Art Institute. And then she was like, why are you there? And I was just like, oh, I'm not here for me. I'm here for my cousin. He wants to do culinary. And she was like, no, that school will take your money and not do anything for you. I don't know what she does now, but like I remember her being super adamant about that. And I mean, I guess to each their own, but I'm trying to think of like the outweighs the benefit.
To each their own. I don't want to knock it because I did it myself. You get in you get out of it what you put into it. Honestly, you put in a lot of work. You meet the right people. You can get a lot out of it. But it's sad to say a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
A lot of people go in there thinking, oh, I like movies. I just like to do like they're very casual about it.
Yeah.
They go into it thinking that it's all creative and all fun and games, and then they realize, oh, I have to actually
I have to do paperwork.
I have to do it's a lot of homework and a lot of things that you don't think that are actually important. And also, sad to say, the curriculums are dated back still like from the 90s.
Is it really?
Yeah, they are not updated at all, and it just feels like you're learning old school stuff that you're never going to use sometimes in some of those courses. So that could be that weeds a lot of people out.
I bet.
Now that all depends on what school you go to. Yeah. So,
like, well, you said outdated and that it doesn't help you. Do you think it could be like, they're purposely doing this because like you should learn the old school way because it's tough, and now they have technology that makes it a lot easier, but you should learn the traditional route so you can appreciate the new one? Do you think that could be like they did it on purpose? It could be that the school is fucking poor and they're like, hey, we can't afford it.
Yeah, it could be. It could be a lack of knowledge on where the industry actually is right now.
Yeah.
Because the industry is changing so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, technology is making things so much easier. So like things are changing a lot faster than some of these courses can actually keep up on.
Dude, and yeah, you were telling me how often new cameras come out, and I was like, wait, what? Like, yeah,
I can't keep up with it.
Yeah, and you follow that.
I used to be obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And I'm a cinematographer, but I can't keep up with it. And it's a lot of people's addiction. They go onto those websites and just constantly see new cameras being announced. And honestly, that can cause a little depression if you're constantly up to date. It's kind of like those people that are waiting for that next iPhone.
Yeah.
You're never going to win that game.
No.
Ever. The moment you get the new iPhone, the next iPhone's already announced.
Dude, now that I think about it, like, it's an expensive hobby. It's an expensive, like, career. Is there even like, you always hear that, like, every hobby is expensive, like gun collecting, tattoos, cinematography. Is there a hobby that's not expensive?
No.
I'm trying to think of one. Like, is there a hobby?
I mean, I'm even thinking, like, landscaping. That's probably still expensive.
Yeah, there's no hobby that's, like, when you actually get down and start doing the math, that's not expensive.
Not really.
Man, everything costs money. Fuck,
man. It really does, man. There's nothing free that's actually... I mean, there's a lot of stuff that are free that you can enjoy, but...
I want to know what hobby out there is not expensive. When you get down to every hobby, is just fucking expensive.
I even tried because I was in a band for 2 years, and at first I started off as a hobby, and I was having a blast. Like it was fun at first, just having a guitar and an amp, and then I got into the pedals. Once I got into the pedals, it opened up a whole new world.
Yeah.
And I did not have the money for it at all, but I just kept buying new pedals and looking up all these things, and it was a hobby, so I should not have been doing that. But I just kept doing it, and then I have this whole pedal board now. Got into the band for 2 years, then the band ended, and then I think I spent over like $5,000 or something,
Damn.
like just in total with everything. And I realized that afterwards, and I was like, yeah, I fell down that rabbit hole.
Why didn't you just get an acoustic? Yeah.
I should have. Now I have an acoustic. I just recently got an acoustic.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I finally got one. But I mean, there's something about the electric guitar.
No, there is.
It's just something.
And
beautiful about it.
and with the extortion pedals and all that stuff, and how you can play around with different sounds. No,
distortion pedals. Yeah. I mean, I have a little bit of everything, which is awesome. So I listen to a lot of like post rock and a lot of like different types of rock, indie rock and stuff like that. Yeah. And I love to have the versatility of it.
Yeah.
Playing all types of music. It's fun.
Yeah. Who's your band? Like if you had to pick a band, is it still Caspian?
Right now it's constantly fluctuating. Right now I'm really into this band called War on Drugs. They're based out of Philly. And there's just something about that band that it's amazing.
Is it post rock?
No, this is like a more indie style, but it's got like a very oldish kind of vibe to it.
Yeah.
Like almost like an 80s vibe to it. But they do a lot of like psychedelic like flares to their music.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of feel good qualities to it, which is awesome. So it's stuff you can jam out to, it's like ambient tones, stuff like that. So it's a good mix of like everything that I love. So super into that band right now.
War on Drugs. Okay, I gotta check it out.
You should, man. That's awesome.
Me and my buddy Brady, he'll recommend me some songs. Like I'll go to work. I work with him, and then he'll be like, "Hey, check out this band. Check out this song first, and then listen to the other songs." And so far, he hasn't let me down. It's been good.
I've been really into live music.
Really?
And I think that what gets me
like
about
listening
live music,
to it on your headphones.
Yeah, and watching it on YouTube and stuff like that. I watch a lot of live concerts and stuff. And I think what got me into it was when I was in my band and I was just trying to see how other bands do it and trying to emulate that kind of energy. Like, how would I project that? Like, how would I be on stage? Because I'm kind of awkward with a guitar, you know? And as I was watching all these videos and stuff, I just started to see like there's some amazing live music out there. There's something different about the live experience. Even watching it on a video. Really? If you have the right headphones on, you can get immersed into that.
I don't doubt that. I think that's what it is. I don't actually watch live concerts on like on YouTube or whatever, but listening to live music, I don't like. I like listening to the studio and stuff. And I know there's gonna be people that's gonna fight me on that. But I mean, dude, I love live music when I'm there. Just like sports, like I get into it when I'm there. But like listening to that live music in my headphones, there's something about it that I'm just like, the studio version is better.
Yeah, to each their own. I mean, a lot of it, what I love about live music is they do different things that you wouldn't hear in the studio. Yeah. Because a lot of times they're jamming, especially with certain bands. They love to jam. Sometimes they jam a lot longer than the actual song. Yeah. So they can just go on for hours and just do crazy stuff that makes it more immersive. Yeah. Oh, I love it.
No, that's true. Like,
look up the song "Under the Pressure."
I'll write that down. You think I'm kidding?
And that live version on YouTube is incredible.
Under the Pressure by who?
By War on Drugs.
War on Drugs. Okay. Yeah. There you go. I wrote it down. I'm literally going to probably after this. I'm going to listen to it. Oh man. So, what made you want to get into cinematography?
So, what got me into cinematography? Well, I used to be a skateboarder back when I was in high school, and used to watch tons of skate videos and stuff with my friends, and I just wanted to make one myself. I was just all the time I would see the coolest skate videos and like seeing all these tricks. Yeah. And I was doing all these tricks and I wanted to film it. you know. So I would go out, you know, whenever we're going to a skate park or something, I'd bring my little camera, my dad's like little HDV camera, and just start filming like little random things, and then I would bring it into Windows Movie Maker and just start making little videos out of it.
Yeah.
And then what got me into editing, I mean, from there it was like, my video was terrible, and I was like, no, I don't like this. I'm gonna rip off of YouTube and like rip off of a whole bunch of stuff I see like on the internet, and just edit a video together. That's how I learned editing.
Oh, really?
Just did a whole bunch of videos on Windows Movie Maker. It's still up on YouTube right now.
Is there?
All these videos. There's one video I did like 7 years ago. It was called like Pro Skaters Big Gaps or something like that. It's got over 2 million views on it.
No,
it's still up. I just checked it like a month ago, and I was like, I can't believe YouTube didn't bring that down yet. But that's how I got into it. All on Windows Movie Maker, and I just kind of put a whole bunch of clips together, put some music on it. It was so bad, but I loved it.
I have a video.
So that's how I got into it, and then also movies. My dad used to do this Friday night movie night. So we'd just get pizza every Friday when I was like in middle school, going up through high school. And then we had this big like theater in our basement. And every Friday we go to Blockbuster. You remember Blockbuster?
What the hell is Blockbuster?
I know. Back in the day.
Oh my God. No, dude. God.
Every Friday, man.
90s.
My dad.
Real quick, 90s and like 80s. No, there has to be a better way to say it. Basically, there's a point where kids are growing up. I want to say, I guess, somewhere in 2000, where things are dying, where they'll look at a cassette tape. I still know what a cassette tape is, even though I never really used it. And then kids are looking at it like, yo, what the hell is this? Blockbuster 2. There are going to be kids out there who's like, what the hell is There's going to be kids who don't know what Toys R Us is. Dude, Toys R Us was my heaven. Like, I can't tell you how many times, like, I got so happy going to Toys R Us. It's like, I want this, I want that, I want that. Anyways, all right.
I never gotten into Toys R Us, man.
Oh, I was obsessed with toys, man. I mean, you can kind of tell, except the Dragon Ball Z stuff. Again, those are Zach's, those are my brothers, and then I mean, there's like movies and games, but Power Rangers. I was huge on Power Rangers, and like I wanted to be one. I was so obsessed. And I bought I
remember that.
I bought every freaking like they call it Megazords, like the robots and stuff. Oh, yeah. I bought like every single one. I had like almost every single one up to a certain point. And then I remember like, you know, when it was like around middle school where everybody wanted to be obsessed with growing up. So they were just like, yeah, I don't do Pokemon anymore. I don't do Power Rangers anymore. And then like I would say that, but secretly I'm like, no, I still love my Power Rangers. I'm still waking up early in the morning to watch the show. And then like sometime like, all right, fine, I had to grow up. And then that's when it made me sad. I was like, damn. And then when I heard Toys R Us was going down, I was like, no, even though I don't buy toys anymore, I was just like, no, that was my childhood. That Blockbuster was, I mean, I loved movies, but I didn't care about Blockbuster. Everybody went there to rent games sometimes. No, when Blockbuster went under, that didn't make me sad. When Toys R Us went under, that made me sad.
Blockbuster was my thing.
Blockbuster was your thing?
Actually, that's how I learned how to drive, was going to Blockbuster.
Really?
Yeah. I got in my dad's van, and I was just like, I don't want to drive to Blockbuster. You know, casual Friday night, movie nights or whatever. I would grab the van. And it was right down the street, so it wasn't too bad. Yeah. But that was literally how I learned how to drive. Yeah. Was going to Blockbuster. So that just brings back those memories, man.
Blockbuster, man. Did you hear about Netflix making a documentary about Blockbuster? Can't even say
No, I didn't even know that.
No, dude. Oh, man. Check this out. Netflix is making a documentary about Blockbuster, about like its legacy and stuff. And there's like funny memes coming out about how like Netflix, it's like, how you gonna kill somebody and then tell their story, you know?
Oh, wow.
It's like if I were to like, I mean, I don't make it dark, but it's like if I were to kill you and then I tell your story, or you kill me and then you're gonna tell, oh, this is how DJ lived.
That is terrible.
It's terrible,
wow.
But it's hilarious.
God, it's like they just dug that knife in. They're just like twisting it. It's like, here, let me just rub it in even more. Now let me grab another samurai sword and just keep digging. Wow.
There was, I mean, there was that one story about the last blockbuster alive. I think it was like in Alaska or something, but I guess now it's fully gone. But
Is it really?
I think unless they
Oh,
made it into a landmark, they should make it a landmark.
they should. They
They
should
sh-
make at least one left.
yeah, there was it was a story a couple of years ago. I want to say it was in 2018. There was one. They were making a big hype about it. It had its own social media account, like its own Twitter. Uh, I think it was in Alaska. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. And I don't know if it's still standing, but it was standing longer than all the rest. And I wonder if it's still there. I'll definitely look it up after the show. But yeah. Oh man, Blockbuster.
Good times.
Is there any specific movie that you watched? I mean, besides having a movie night with your family, is there any specific movie that you were just like? It may not be your favorite, but it was like, all right, I want to get into cinematography. That was way cool.
Ooh, wow. I mean, the biggest one that got me into kind of the filmmaking world was this movie. You might have heard of it. It has dinosaurs in it. It's called Jurassic Park.
No, I never heard of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty it's pretty indie. A lot of people haven't heard of it, but yeah, it's a pretty good movie about dinosaurs and how people go there. And this guy tries to make a theme park out of it, and it just the classic "it goes wrong" kind of thing.
I hate you so much.
But yeah, dude, as a kid, I'd be watching this movie and I was like maybe 12 or 13 when I first saw it, and man, that movie scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
With the raptors and all that, and it would give me nightmares and stuff. And it was something about that movie that gave me that feeling. Like, I think throughout most of the movie, it was like raining and storming or whatever. Yeah. And it created that mood through the whole movie. And I was just like, what is this? Like, how do you make someone feel that way just by watching images or whatever? And that got me really intrigued by that. Dude, it's that movie magic.
Yeah, all right. Jurassic Park 3 was the first of the Jurassic Park movies I saw, and then I went to see 1 and 2.
What? How did that happen?
I caught it on TV.
Wow.
I was a kid though, like, and back then with no, like, you couldn't rewind a movie or easily check TV Guide. Remember TV Guide?
Oh yeah.
Where it was like always scrolling.
Yep.
And so if you missed it, like,
it's over. You have to catch it at a certain time. Yeah.
I remember doing I would be watching Nickelodeon, and I'll go to TV Guide, and it would I wanted to see what was on Cartoon Network, or what was playing in Cartoon Network like in an hour later, and I would remember doing that hotkey switch, like, okay, press one button to go to the previous channel.
Mm-hmm.
And I would do that. I would go to TV Guide, go back to Nickelodeon, and then wait. And then I'd be like, oh, fuck, I need to go back to the TV Guide and go to TV Guide. And I just miss Cartoon Network. I'm like, motherfucker. Yeah.
So glad those days are over.
Yeah, right? I mean, I don't even watch TV. I honestly just, it's all about Hulu.
I don't have any cable or anything.
Who does? I mean, people who watch sports. Yeah, so nothing I can do really about that. I told them not to rage, but if people heard that, I do apologize. Anyways, what's something you wished that now that you wished you would have known back then? In, like, whether it's cinematography or just in general, like, that maybe would have helped you out.
Biggest thing for me, to have the patience.
What? Just in general?
Yeah, just in general. I felt like I just wanted to be good at everything so fast.
Yeah.
I didn't really give myself time to learn. I just want to, like, be good. And if I wasn't good, I just wouldn't give myself a chance sometimes, and just letting myself be more malleable to things and just kind of being adaptable. But it was something I learned. It was pretty early on, but I do wish that I learned it earlier. It would have been a lot easier. Just to allow yourself to kind of soak in information. Yeah. A lot of people think that it's like you have to be good at it from the beginning, but I think that's kind of the beauty of it. Progressing in whatever you do. So.
Yeah. And meeting those people that, they feel like they always have to have the answer, especially when you're young. People think, I like to think people think they are either doctors or lawyers. Like in my life, I've met more people who think they know more than doctors, and then people who think they know more than lawyers. And it's like no one wants to say, you know what, I don't know. I'm gonna learn that though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be patient and just learn. No, if I feel like people, they feel like they have to have the answer. I feel like that's another thing. Like people are not patient to, or just to be able to say, you know what, I don't know.
It requires a level of maturity for sure.
Yeah, that's
to
true.
be able to come to terms with that. To know to say, hey, I don't know this. You know more than me. How do I get there?
Yeah.
And that could be an ego thing. And not to say that I had a huge ego, but sometimes you can get frustrated by not knowing how to do something, and then you just give up too early.
Yeah. I think that's how one person's able to learn a lot, is like if they have a huge ego and then it just comes crashing down, and then they're like, you know what, fuck, maybe I don't know everything, and maybe I need like that reality check. I feel like that is the moment where somebody can learn the most, is when they realize, okay, you know what, I don't know everything.
Yeah. And that can be their moment to shine and start to become a whole different person.
I mean, I did not have an ego, like with this podcast. Like I did not have an ego whatsoever. If anything, I was scared. I was just like, I wanted everything to be perfect, sure, but I was still patient. It was just like I wanted to get everything right, but at the same time, I didn't want to make like too big of a mistake. And I know, like, especially with this interview, it's just gonna go up from here. Like this can go really well, and then like my 10th interview, it's going to be even better than the first one, like this one. And then it's just going to keep on growing. It's just, I don't know. It's like, you still want everything to go right. And then, you don't want to make obvious mistakes, but I don't think it's an ego thing. I think it's a scare thing. Like I am scared. But
yeah. I mean, it comes down to the fear and knowing how to handle that. I mean, I think when I first got into anything video related, anything media related, I was absolutely terrified of showing anybody anything.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to be so perfect when I first started. I didn't want anyone to see it until I got there, And then I realized I need to start finishing things. Learn how to finish things and move on to the next one, and take what you learn from those and keep building on that. Yeah. And that was what I was trying to learn when I first started at my job that I have now. There were a lot of mistakes that are going to be there forever. I mean, I've made some dumb mistakes, like bad angles on lighting or interviews. There was an interview I had. It was so close you could see the dude's eyes, like just the dude's eyes.
No way.
And that's going to be there forever. And it's just like, I don't know what happened. I just made the mistake. Damn. And it's going to be there. But it was ingrained in me. And now I'm building on top of that to never do that again.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't that close. I was exaggerating. But
I mean, yeah.
It was just that idea of that, learning how to keep building on whatever mistakes you do.
Yeah.
So, and the fear started to it didn't disappear. Now it's funny because like there's always new fears because again the industry is constantly changing. There's always new things happening, and learning how to cope with that and use that as your friend. You kind of use that as like a little bit of a motivator. Yeah. In a sense. That's what I've learned to do.
Yeah, no, fear
keeps me on my toes.
Yeah, fear can be a good thing. Like, fear, just with anything, too much of it is bad, too little of it is bad. Like, it's cliche as hell, but it's true that, you need the right amount, just a little bit of fear, enough to, like, get you moving, and then not too much where it paralyzes you, where it's like, fuck, I don't even want to start. I know this one dude, like, I don't know how he is now. I haven't spoke to him in years. I don't have him as a Facebook friend, but I literally knew a guy. He was a little bit overweight, and he talked about how he knew he needed to lose weight, but he didn't want to run. And then which I thought was odd. I was like, why don't you want to run? And then he was like, oh, I see what I could do to the knees. It's like, okay, but like you've seen like the few people who got like knee injuries through running, but you're gonna let that fear paralyze you, and it did. I mean, I don't know what he is now. Hopefully, he did lose the weight and he's a healthy dude. But that at the time, that fear paralyzed him to, run, to do an exercise, to lose some weight. But then I have a cousin who, she is afraid of being homeless, being poor, but that is motivating her to go to school and become a lawyer, and that way she doesn't end up in poverty and all that stuff. And that's what motivating her, and it's lighting the fire under her to move, so it's not paralyzing her, which is a good thing. But it's fear is a crazy thing, man. Fear is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, and it's at an all-time high right now.
Oh my God.
The COVID situation is like people have been introduced to a whole new type of fear they never thought they would ever feel. And I've heard some crazy stories on that. But I mean, I'm really glad to see that things are getting better. But man, it's been a rough time.
Dude, COVID is weird. I have a weird relationship with it, not only because I had it and, recovered from it, but the fact that like I didn't care, like just for me, not for the people. And I explained this in one of my episodes, where like I just have that attitude of, nah, if I die, I die, whatever. I'm a keep doing what I need to do, and I wasn't gonna let that stop. Especially when they came out and was like, if you're healthy and you're young, chances are you're going to be fine. And then if you're older and if you're sick, yeah, you might want to watch out. And it's such a hot button issue, and it really shouldn't be. But and you and I, we know people who are young who are still scared, and it's crazy. It's just like, all right, but if you want to be scared well, I wouldn't say scared. I would say cautious. Like, if you want to be cautious, that's one thing. I know people who are cautious way before COVID. But then there are people who were cautious, and then during COVID just took it a whole new level. You might as well be living in a bubble, like freaking Bubble Boy.
I mean,
Tobey Maguire style.
You take precautions where you can, but
you take risk assessments way before COVID. When you get in a car, I was explaining that to people that you could be a great driver. That doesn't mean that's not going to mean somebody's not going to hit you with their car. You can take these risks. You take risk every day, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, you just take precautions where you can, do what you can, and be, respectful for others.
Yeah.
Wear that mask in anywhere that you go, but does not mean you need to shut down completely.
Right. Oh my God, that was scary. The shutdown was definitely the worst thing and the most scariest thing. I was actually, it's hard to get me scared. I was a little bit scared. I was like, damn.
Yeah, I think we all were.
Yeah. I mean, obviously with certain businesses, when, people are like playing God and saying like, well, you're not essential, I'm essential. And oh my God, that was scary. Especially me, because I work at a restaurant, and I was, we were living together.
So yeah, we were living together, and when that shutdown first happened, you were pretty much just trapped in that apartment.
Dude, I was, and I didn't have COVID.
No.
Oh, that sucked.
You just were your routine, man.
Dude, it was horrible.
I remember this routine. You went back to like high school.
I did. Video games all day, Netflix all day. God, it sounds like such a first world problem, but it sucked. It really did suck.
Yeah, man. Can you imagine getting too much sleep and too much video games and too much bad food, like really tasty bad food all the time, and just waking up wherever you want? That's hard, man. That's
fucking
a tough
hard,
life,
man. That's just it's. I don't wish that on my worst enemies. Oh man. Hate you for bringing that up or whatever. I'm gonna keep it. I should edit that out, but I'm definitely gonna keep it.
No, you gotta keep that one, man. That's you. That's a part of you. That's what I think. That realization, like after you did all of that, is what got you to where you're going now.
Yeah.
Because there was a moment in there where you just got kicked in the face, and you were like, "All right, I gotta stop this. Like, it's over."
Dude, no. Do you remember me coming home and when I snapped and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like,
and you bought a bike.
I bought a bike. I
You
started
saw me
cycling.
biking all the time. You saw me
Yeah.
on the little crappy bike that I had,
Yep.
and I was like outside on the porch, just like doing what I could, and it
Yeah.
was like breaking down on me, but I was still trying to do what I could.
You
Like
did.
COVID was terrible. I bought this really cheap, like $200 bike from Play It Again Sports, and it broke on me on like the second week or something like that. It was terrible, but I just kept doing it.
You kept doing it, man. You were there fixing the chain, and then you were just like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do it." And you know what? Like that, slowly and surely, that inspired me. I was like, "All right, you know what? I need to get to work. I need to take care of myself again." And oh my god, that and I have a bike now. I have a mountain bike, and now I ride around to trails to the neighborhood. I'll ride for like a couple of hours. And it feels good, man. It really does. Like, getting back into it. And like I'm not a huge fitness guy. You're obviously you're more fit than me, but like it's weird. Yes, if somebody hasn't worked out, whatever the case may be, like whatever exercise, if you haven't worked out in a while and you get back into it, yes, like the first week or two is gonna suck. But if you're able to finish like that week or two, after that, it feels good. It honestly does. Like when I rode my bike, I mean, even though like I'm not as fit as I used to be, getting back into it didn't take me too long. It took me like a week, and that first week was like, oh man, this kind of sucks. But now I feel like if I stopped it, that's going to suck.
Yep.
If another COVID happens, God forbid, like that would suck.
Even if another one happens, I feel like you would hit it differently because you know what not to do.
Yeah. But
you
yeah,
know
no,
exactly what not to do.
yeah, right. But you remember me coming home and snapping and saying like, the bullshit stuff I had to deal with at that other restaurant, and then just being like, dude, I don't want to do this anymore. And then you were like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I think I'm going back to school, man. I'm assigned to chef, and I'm thinking about going to school. Thinking, something 2 years. Let me do something 2 years, and I'm out. Which ironically, okay, so now it's gonna take me really 3.5, 4 years because uh on Google, I didn't tell you this, like they say it takes 2 years to be a dental hygienist, and that's true. Like if you're in the dental program, but you still have to get your associates, which takes another year and a half or two. And so, I have no degree, so I have to go for my associates and then go to the dental program. So overall, it's gonna take 3.5 to 4 years. But I'm in it. I'm in it for the long run. So
That's awesome, man. And that's going to be inspiring for a lot of people to hear that, because a lot of people, when they get to a certain age, they're afraid to go back to school because they feel like they would be judged or whatever.
Yeah.
You feel like when you get to a certain age, a lot of people think that you have to have your whole life figured out already.
Right?
You get to your 30s and it's over. It's like, no, you can't restart at this
Why do
point.
you
You have to
think that?
already be there.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I mean, it's society's new, I guess, way of viewing success, where a lot of people in their 20s are just absolutely killing themselves. So when they get to the 30s, it's a lot easier, and then they kind of just coast from there.
Yeah.
And so if you don't figure that out, you're kind of put on that backward. It's like, no, you can't restart. No, you can't go backwards.
I'm not gonna lie, like I did have that mindset, like,
a lot of people do.
yeah. But like, actually now sitting down and thinking about it, like why is that? I
think it's a little bit of that. It's a little bit of a pride thing. You don't want to go backwards, and a lot of people are afraid to take one small step back to take a giant leap forward on whatever they do. Like if you need to take a step back, take a pay cut wherever you're going to take a giant leap forward in a new direction, because some people need that.
Yeah.
A lot of people are too afraid to do that.
I mean, I understand. Like again, I was on that boat. I didn't want to take a pay cut. Now I have, and it does suck. Like the pay cut in and of itself sucks, but yes, I could see the benefit of the investment. But it's that societal thing where you hit the nail on the head, where people feel like they have to have their whole life figured out. They have to have be married, have a house, have a degree, be making at least $50K or more by the time they're 30. It's crazy. It's like no one has a blueprint on life. Everybody takes different routes. Different factors happen in people's life. Why is that? I'll say for me, real quick, uh, I think it's just honestly high school. Like, in high school, a bunch of teachers were, just talking to kids about like, uh, oh yeah, like as soon as you finish high school, you had to go to college, and then college on average is 4 years, and then you're like 18 when you finish high school. 4 years into college, you're 22. Supposedly you graduate, and then right there, 22, you should get your big boy job or big girl job, and then tackle life.
Yeah, off to the races after that.
I mean, if it works out for you, that's awesome, but
more power to you if it does.
Right?
And it's amazing when it does. And I see it happen a lot, but I also see the opposite happen too, where people take the wrong direction. And,
right.
Once you go down that rabbit hole, sometimes it's hard to come back out, because some people go down a path that they don't, or a job career that they don't actually like, but they're so far down they don't want to go back.
Yeah, you hear that people changing their majors and stuff like that.
Yeah, that happens all the time.
I'm actually scared that I might. I mean, I'm pretty set on being a dental hygienist, but I still think about that. Like, fuck, what if I get into the dental program and realize this is not what I want to do? But
I mean, that's kind of the fear that drives me a little bit too. It's like, sometimes I get that feeling after long hours and crazy work schedules where I'm just like, is this what I want to do sometimes? And honestly, those are the moments where I really break through, though. You know, when I push past it and I'm still in it afterwards, like it's just like a newfound appreciation for what you do.
Yeah.
And it goes past just passion. It goes past, oh, I just like doing it, or it's like some kind of a love. It goes past that, and now you're breaking into a new ground where it's like, I'm doing this because this is my profession. This is why this is what I do. Yeah. And that's it. And that will fuel you more than just the passion, because the passion goes up and down.
Yeah.
I mean, some days you're inspired, some days you're not. I mean, that's a creative dilemma we're having. That's like a war in your brain all the time, where some days you just feel like, yes, let's go do some crazy short film. Let's go do some awesome like documentary or something like that. And then there are a lot of days where you don't feel it. You're feeling exhausted. You feel dead. You feel like there's nothing creative. All the videos you watch are kind of boring. You don't feel it, but you still kind of do it because that's a part of it. That's a part of it. Once you push past that, I mean, it just kind of, it gets in that ground of like, it's just getting a little bit closer together. The passion and the professionalism side, and then they kind of become cohesive. Yeah. And then it all kind of intertwines together. Mm-hmm. It's hard to explain, but
no, I get it.
I haven't gotten there yet. I feel like I'm still working on it. I mean, again, it's that constant war in my head. I feel like everyone that chooses a profession has that up and down.
And that's not even, see, some people
might
learn
think, a lot from it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Some people think like what you're talking about, oh, that's mainly in the creative field. It's like, no, that's all of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, because I mean, I can only speak for myself, but even though I'm in the first semester of school, as we record this, that I remember, so I go to school Monday and Wednesday, and I work Sunday, and I work nights. I got off work at like 11:30, came home, it was close to midnight. I have an 8 a.m. class. I know a lot of people are cringing when they hear that, like, why would you have an 8 a.m. class? And so that means I have to be up at like 5:30, shower, eat breakfast, and drive to school. And there's been time where I will literally hit my head on the pillow at like 1 a.m, close my eyes, and my alarm would snap, and it's already 5:30. I'm like, what? I felt like I slept for like 5 minutes. It's that little inconvenience that, oh, it was. Before I was in school, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to school. I want to be a dental hygienist. I want to do great. But then no one thinks about like the actual grind, the inconvenience. Like what happens when you only get like 2 hours of sleep? What then? That's the make it break it.
It is. It really is. It weeds out the people that, kind of doing it casually and the people who really want it. So,
yeah.
Yeah. And I hate to say it sounds so cliche, but if it was easy, I mean, a lot of people, everyone would do it, honestly. I mean, I feel like that's with every field.
No, what's funny is that Matthew McConaughey, he did an interview with Jordan Peterson, and which is really cool. Like that interview was really interesting. And one thing he was talking about was like, you know, the business of Hollywood and stuff like that. And Matthew McConaughey said there are no help wanted signs, you know, especially for actors. There's no help wanted signs. And then it's funny hearing that, like, it should be like common sense, but I just needed to hear somebody say that. And it like shattered this window in my head, going like, oh my God, that's so true. Like there are no help wanted signs to be an actor. So, you know, it's not to say if you want to, you know, go and grind for it. I still kind of want it, but you know what? I'm not going to grind for it. I want to grind for, you know, dental hygienist. I want to grind for this podcast. I'd rather put my time and money and energy into these things. And just because even though like I'm not getting paid for this is fun. And I could see the, like, what it can become. But overall, it's fun. It's a fun hobby. It's still an expensive hobby. And you like how we did that full circle expensive hobby?
No, it all came back around, yeah.
But yeah, like it's fun. But the dental hygienist, like I'm not just doing that for the money. It's also like, hey, you know, I could see myself doing that. I think I'd be really happy doing that. I mean, only time will tell. But all right, but real quick, random. I've been staring at your drink. You brought this wine. I kind of want to try this.
Yeah, so this is a Moscato. It's a sweet red. Here, if you want to take a sip out of that, you try this thing.
I'm not a wine guy. Like, I mean, it says it right there, sweet red. I'm not a wine guy. My dad, he's huge on wine. You knew that, right? That my dad is huge on wine.
Yeah, I knew that.
Not.
And it's funny because you worked out the highest end steakhouse in Atlanta at one point, and you had to learn all about the different types of wine and
I
stuff.
still don't. At this new restaurant, I bullshit my way. When every now and then I get people to ask me about wine, I don't fucking know. I just bullshit my way. What I do is, this is like, you know, I'm giving you what I would do. I would literally read the back of the bottle, and they always tell a little bit of a story. Right there, it says sweet red wine. So sometimes if I go to a table and they're like, oh, I kind of want a red wine. But like, do you want sweet? Do you want dry? Do you want earthy? What do you want? If they say sweet, I'll have like a few sweet red wines, like at least 2 or 3 that I can like, oh, I'll try to push you. But I don't know wine.
Yeah.
And I'm about to say something super controversial. Here we go. I think all wine tastes the same. I don't give a fuck who you are.
Try this one. Just try it.
I know, right? People are like, okay, I'll try it. I'm just gonna pour a little bit. See, I think that's already too much. Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay.
You see?
Okay. All right.
Completely different, right?
Different. Yeah. It honestly tastes like freaking grape juice. I mean, like, you can taste a little bit the alcohol, but it honestly
that's not, I mean, that's, you know, you can say red wine, whatever.
Can I take a little bit?
And it's, yeah. So I only got recently into it.
What made you get into it? Yeah.
How I got into wine. Being on the plane. Yeah, I'm about to sound a little pretentious as hell, but being on the plane constantly over the last couple years, I got the opportunity a couple times to get some wine on the plane, and that was the first time I've ever tried it, and that's how I got into it.
I bet people are gonna be like, why aren't you drinking out of a wine glass? Because I don't have one. Because fuck wine. Okay, I'll say this. This is good. I can see myself buying this one. Where'd you get this?
Got that one at Publix.
Publix?
Yeah.
I'll fucking buy it.
It's cheap. I mean, it's not anything
How
crazy.
much? Like 12? $20.
Yeah, like around. I think it was around 15.
Okay,
something like that.
Screw.
Not too crazy.
Did I ever? I'm pretty sure I told you this, but you probably don't remember. You want to know what the most expensive wine I've ever tried?
What's that?
Crap, I actually think it changed. Because I remember making it a big deal when I tried it, but then I remember talking. Okay, screw it. I can't remember the other one, but the one I can remember, it was the first time. It was the first time I've ever tried the most expensive wine. At the time that I tried it was $600. It was a red wine, and it was at the restaurant, the super high end restaurant. And like I remember being in the back, and the servers, they poured the wine. They were like, "Do you want it?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I thought to myself back then that all wine tastes the same. The only difference is red wine tastes like red wine, and white wine tastes like white wine, and rosé tastes like rosé. That was the only difference. But all red wines taste the same. All white wines taste the same. Fight me. So I had that opinion for. I still hold that opinion on it. This changed just a little bit, but I still hold that opinion. No,
It's not true red though. I have to admit. I mean, it's pretty.
I don't
sweet.
give a fuck as long as I can pass it. But it was a $600 bottle of wine, and I got to try it. Super dry as fuck. And I was like coughing. It felt like, and I was like 27 at the time, and it still felt like that I was drinking for the first time, and I was coughing. I was like, oh god, this is dry as hell. And
it's kind of like that classic, like the worse it tastes, the better it is for some people. And I'm just like,
yeah, right. I've heard that.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was. I remember it being $600. Red, dry. God, it was so disgusting. And then I remember trying another red wine that was like $40, and I was like, that tasted like the $600 one. Why are you buying? And so I came with a conclusion. It's either A or B. It's one of these two. Either A, when I was born and got, my taste buds and all that stuff, that for some reason God left out the alcohol, the wine tasting buds. Like I can taste the difference in all wines. Either that's option A, that I was born without the wine palate, or option B, which I personally think is the reality, is everybody's fucking lying and I'm the only one telling the truth, that all wine does taste the same. People just want to be pretentious as fuck about it. I think it's option B. People can fight me all they want.
I think you should go to a winery, have them side by side.
I do want to go to a winery.
And then tell me that.
I would legit go to a winery.
Yeah.
Just so I can try it and be like, this is fucking disgusting. But this was actually good.
Yeah.
How'd you discover this one?
That was just a random buy at Publix one day.
Random buy at Publix?
Random buy. Yep. I do that a lot though. I just kind of randomly wanted to choose one. And
have you picked out a wine that you were like, oh, this was the worst buy?
No. I mean, there are some worse than others, but never like oh my god, I'm never getting that again, I feel like I just have a natural luck of the draw, I guess.
Really?
I haven't chosen a really bad one yet, so
knock on wood, lucky. Bro.
I know.
That's not even wood.
Shit.
Are you more into red wines than white wines?
I like red better.
I cook, so when I cook seafood, I like cooking, obviously with the white wine. That's the only time I'll ever buy wine is when I'm cooking like fish. That's it. But I've never cooked with red wine. Don't plan on it. No, I do plan on it. But
yeah, man, gotta be open minded.
Yeah, no. When it comes to cooking, I'll do just about anything for the right flavor, for the ingredients and stuff. Like when I looked up this one a seafood recipe and it was like white wine, it was like Sauvignon, and I was like, all right, whatever. It's one of the recipes. It was just like a 3/4 cup, put it in and cooked out the alcohol, and still put a bunch of ingredients where you can't even taste the wine. It's just an ingredient. I didn't question it and came out good, whatever. But I'm not a wine person. I don't care.
Hey man, to each their own.
What's your Besides, what's your go-to drink?
Go-to drink, just in general?
Yeah, like when people say, "What's your poison?" What's yours?
I mean, I like bourbon. Yeah, kind of anything in that realm.
Any specific?
Nah, I mean, there are some that I would prefer
I gotta
more than
take a
others,
picture
but
of
there's
that.
not. Yeah, you should, man.
I will later.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I will legit buy that. If I, especially like how you always hear with romantic settings with a girl, I always say like, "Oh, I'm never gonna have wine. That's never gonna be a thing."
All right, now when you go on that date with the super romantic setting, you have to take a picture and you have to hold the bottle up.
I will definitely have that. Candles and everything.
Oh, yeah.
That wine. Any other wine? Fuck that. No, that wine. I will.
Perfect. I'm glad I was the one who introduced you. Man. I feel honored.
No, thank you. But bourbon. Any specific bourbon?
No, I mean I'm kind of, no, I like all kinds, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Crown.
I like whiskeys and stuff. Yeah, I mean I like all types of stuff.
I mean, I know there's whiskey, but like Crown, like, because I'm gonna bring something up later. But how do you feel about Crown?
I like it.
Yeah. Have you tried the peach? I think
no,
it's new.
I don't like anything flavored.
You don't like anything flavored? Okay.
No.
Okay, that's
anything
good.
Flavored. I'm not into. I like if I'm gonna add a flavor, I want to add it myself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like anything.
So like mixed drinks.
Yeah. Never been into that.
The only mixed drink I like, which I'm about to actually have right here, rum. Except I'm about to take it straight. I should have had this in the beginning, but screw it. No time like now.
No more rum for me ever in my life. It's over. Rum days are over.
Really?
Yep.
I will say
I had too much in high school. Or sorry, not high school. Wow, I take that completely back. Not high school. Not high school.
How dare you? About underage drinking on my show.
I didn't start drinking until I was 21.
Sure. Okay.
That was the first time I've ever like actually drank, and I hated it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't start drinking until I was 23. One upping you. I'm just kidding.
No, yeah, 21, man, and I think it was two of my friends that brought me out to a bar. My friends Eddie and Juan, and I grew up with them, and they brought me out to a bar, and I had like a Long Island iced tea or something like that. It was like, I don't know, something about it. I just didn't like it, and I didn't drink after that point for a while.
You drank a Long Island. That thing has like fucking 6 different liquors in it.
Yeah, it was not good. It was not a good introduction, I guess.
No.
But, yeah, and then not long after that, somebody introduced Four Locos.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I had the classic Four Loco crap. I fell into that trap.
Damn.
I know. But that got me. Yeah.
Didn't they stop making those?
I hope they did. Those are terrible for you.
No, I've been around people who drank that, and I remember seeing the memes like, "Oh, there's always a story to tell when you see these drinks."
Always, man.
And I was hanging out with a couple of buddies.
4 of those things in one night.
Really? Jesus! And you're still alive. It's a miracle.
It was.
Damn.
I don't think there were 4 full ones, but I was like kind of the flavors were like, and I was like drinking different kinds.
And they're huge cans too. Yeah.
Yeah, they were not small.
No. I
can never have one again.
Never had a sip of Four Locos. Don't plan on it either. But so you and I were both Dominican Americans, and jokingly I was always like, "Oh, I'm a disgrace to Dominicans. Like I don't have like some of the Dominican tropes and stuff." But when I started drinking, my first drink, it was hanging out with Eddie and Jonathan Boardman. Do you remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they were like, "All right," and I was like, "You know what? I'm kind of curious now." And I was like 23, and they said, "All right, if it's gonna be your first drink ever, you got to try scotch. You got to try scotch first."
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Why?" And they were like, "Because it's an acquired taste, but if it's your first one and you like it, then good. Then all the other ones are gonna, you're gonna like every single one." And I was like, "All right, cool." So half of that was right. I did enjoy scotch. However, I don't enjoy all of them. Like, fuck tequila. I will say right now, fuck tequila. I'm not. No, fuck no. Hate tequila. Can never.
We're not true Hispanics. We don't like tequila.
I can do tequila in a mixed drink. I cannot do tequila straight. Like, Fuck that. Why is it the party drink? Why is it the go-to, like, oh, hey, everybody, shots of tequila. Or, hey, shots? Shots? They mean tequila. They never finish it. They're like, shots?
I'm
They
not a
mean
shots
tequila.
guy, man.
I'll do a shot, just not tequila. Fuck tequila. I'll do anything else. Like,
Bacardi 151?
I never had that, but I'll have it.
Oh.
Wait, you said
will?
Bacardi?
Yeah, man.
That's rum.
151. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's rum, but it's
Fuck, it's
that's
rum.
a rough one.
Okay, I'll do it.
that is a rough one.
Okay, I'll do that one. But yeah, no.
There was one time where Eric Vasquez,
Mm-hmm.
we were just, we were kind of tipsy one night. He was having fun, whatever. Somebody brought a bottle of that, tiniest little glass. Is like, oh, let's do half a shot or whatever. And we all went around and we did half a shot. And this dude literally sobered up, went outside and threw up. He couldn't take it. And he was done for the rest of the night.
From half a shot? Oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
he'll tell you that story. It was the funniest thing I'll
I'll bring him onto the show.
His face just changed. Like, he was like having fun, laughing, and then he just goes, and then he walks aside.
Like, instantly, as soon as he takes
Instantly.
it. Damn. Oh,
Yeah. It might not be that bad for other people, but
Bacardi 151. What's so bad about this one?
it's just, it tastes like freaking like gasoline, man.
Ugh.
It's rough.
Okay, I can't do that. I do like spice, like, like there's Sailor Jerry. I like that.
Yeah. Classic, I guess.
Yeah, like it doesn't burn. I mean, it's spice, but it doesn't burn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like Malibu. I'll do it with Malibu, just coconut flavor. Classic mixed drink, rum and coke. Do it. Oh, like I was saying about the Dominican thing is that when I tried rum, not knowing what it was, like still experimenting with alcohol when I was younger, and 23 though, is I remember trying rum. I think it was Captain Morgan. I think it was the spice Captain Morgan, and I was like, this is good. I like this. And they were like, that's Captain Morgan. That's rum. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's rum. I've heard that in movies and stuff. And they were like, wait, aren't you Dominican? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, that's a Dominican drink. Like, well, not Captain Morgan, but like rum is like Dominicans go for rum. And I was like, oh, awesome. And I remember like telling my family, it's like, hey, I'm not a disgrace anymore.
There's a rum called Brugal.
Yeah.
That's a classic Dominican
I've tried
rum,
that.
man.
Yep. Oh,
see, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Good.
Yeah.
And there, fuck. There's that one. It's Brugal, but they put like twigs in there, leaves. Have you seen that? Like it's I'll try to pull it up after the show or something, but like it's I don't know what they have inside specifically, but it looks like a piece of branch, and it's so, oh my god, it's
Never heard of that.
Yeah, like I'll pull up a picture. I'm pretty sure Brugal has one. I'm pretty sure other brands have it, but like, yeah, they have like this branch inside the bottle and like leaves and stuff. The drink is it's like candy. It's so delicious. It's so good. It's probably bad, it's like, oh, I can't even taste the alcohol, but it's so fucking good. Like I'll try to get a bottle next time and have you try it with me, but it's fucking good.
All different types, man.
Yeah. Oh man, this is good. See, this is fun, right?
Yeah, man. I've been wanting to do something like this with you for a while.
Yeah.
These conversations all the time.
And like how you said earlier, now that the cameras are set up, the lights are set up, that's it.
You've been wanting to do this for so long, man.
I've been wanting to do this so long. Back in November.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember posting on Facebook. The first thing I said was, actually, did I ever tell you the story? I mean, I talked about it in one of my episodes, but like, I know you didn't watch my show. Did you subscribe to me though?
I sure did.
Okay, good. I'm gonna make sure everybody who comes on the show subscribes to me. I don't care. I mean, I do.
No, you do.
I do.
Not even low key though.
Not even low key. Like, I care. It's one of the prerequisites. You want to be on my show, you gotta subscribe though. I mean, we're just having a good time. But what was I saying? Oh, did I ever tell you the story of how this all came to be?
You did, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like once I, just hanging out with the dude, and he was telling me,
Yeah,
like,
shout out to that guy. What was his name again?
Ryan. I don't know his last name, but I know it's Ryan. So if you're watching this, shout out to you, bro. But yeah, I remember I didn't know his name during it, like slipped my mind, and then eventually, I was talking to a buddy of mine. I was like, "Hey, real quick, what was the dude's name?" And he was like, "Who?" And I was like, "The guy who was like hammering me about like, dude, just fucking start." He was like, "Oh, Ryan." I was like, "Ryan, okay, I'm gonna remember that, Ryan." I didn't say his last. I didn't ask for the last name, but he knows. He knows who he is. I hope he does. But yeah, but yeah, man, like right there, it was a snowball effect, and I remember posting on Facebook like, "Hey, what's a good microphone recommendation?" and all that stuff, and a bunch of my friends were helping me out, saying like, "Oh, this, that." Don was helping out. It was like, "Hey, this is what we use,"
Yeah, man.
and
You had all the support. You just
I
needed to
really
do it.
dude. And I'm about to get sappy here for a minute. I'm not even fucking drunk. I just had a little bit. I'm about to get fucking sappy here, dude. You ever see those Facebook posts like, "Oh, I'm surrounded by fake friends" and stuff like that. Dude, I don't know that feeling. And I'm so grateful that I don't know that feeling. And I hope to never have that feeling. Like dude, honestly, most of my friends, because some of them suck, but no, honestly, most of them are awesome, and like, and I'm super grateful. Like that's one thing. That's all. I could go a long time without talking to any of my friends. They can go a long time without talking to me. But the moment I hit them up and say like, "Hey, how you been?" and "Hey, I need some help. I'm looking for a microphone. I'm looking for this." I got people who are like, I want to help you. And dude, that's awesome. And I need to return the favor. And I really hope this show becomes that, where I can invite them onto the show. Let's talk, let's chill, let's hear your story.
Yeah, man.
And dude, like, yeah, so sappy for here. Cheers to friends.
Cheers, man. Cheers to being your first guest on this
Cheers
thing,
to the first guest, man. Yeah, man. This was fun. I mean,
I'm glad you finally did it. You pushed past it. You've been like overthinking it way too much, and you had to get to that point where you just got to take that action. You just do it.
And it's so true. And then Eddie too. Eddie, this was a good shout out because I remember asking him about mics, and he was the one that was telling me like, "Hey, I like XLR. XLRs are the best, but do start with USB. Just do start, and they're cheaper." And he was right, so he deserves a shout out. But yeah, and then and Neil too. Neil deserves a shout out. Everybody deserves it. Neil deserves a shout out. Eric definitely deserves a shout out. Him and Neil worked on the logo.
Yeah,
it
came out good, man.
Yeah, Eric did the skeleton of it. Like I was talking to Eric first, and he drew the guy laying down, like me laying down, and he drew the skeleton of the Hey DJ show, and I was like, I like it, I really do, but it's still missing something. And then he was like, "Well, I can only do the skeleton. I can't do the illustration part." So I took that, gave it to Neil, and I was like, "Hey, can you spice this up a bit?" Neil was like, "Yeah, sure." And Neil created what the logo is now, and they all deserve shout outs, but it's fucking great. Then Eddie made the intro and the outro. So yeah, nothing but blessed, man. Like, and that's what I was saying earlier, that COVID, I have a weird relationship because literally 2020 in January, we were still living together. I snapped and I was like, "Steven, I don't want to do this anymore." And this was before COVID hit. And I was like, "I think I'm going to go back to school. Fuck being a server." I had that annual review and my GM wasn't going to make me a server. And I was like, "Man, fuck this." And then Chef helped me out. And then I decided to go back to school. I decided to do this podcast all during COVID. So yeah, while everybody's going to remember COVID, sucking for them, I'm going to remember it as the biggest motivator for me. Like, COVID sucked, but I started my podcast. I got accepted into school. Like, yeah, I'm going to remember some good times through it.
Yep. As much as how bad everything was, like with just everything shutting down and all that, I feel like I got some good times too.
Yeah. Like what for you?
Like for me, it was a lot of learning about myself.
Yeah.
You know, I had to push through mental barriers that I never really thought I had before. You know, being trapped in that apartment for so long,
Oh my God.
it was tough. I'm used to traveling. I'm used to being out, and then I think we were locked down for like 2 months. You know, when COVID first hit, I had just come back from my trip from New Zealand. I was out there for 8 days.
That's right.
And I just came back from New Zealand from my vacation, and I came back to everything shut down, and I didn't know what to do. It was just like, you know, pure. I think we were editing some of our stuff, but things were kind of like simmering down. So we were just trying to figure out how to deviate, how to adapt to this whole chaos, you know, and a lot of that anxiety kind of started brewing in, you know, like how do I continue to progress in what I'm doing when everything is shutting down around you, you know?
Yeah.
And that forced me to go within, you know, it forced me to start learning how to meditate, learning how to be still with myself, and learning how to honestly do things I haven't done in a long time, like reading books, you know?
Yeah.
I did a lot of that. And
have you read any good books?
Oh, I read so many, especially recently.
Ooh, like what?
Man, there's this book from David Holiday, and it's a book called Rethinking Success. And that book talks all about how people are viewing success and finding meaning in what you do. And that book got me. It strummed all the strings for me.
Nice.
Like, it's just like, it tells you how to look within, even in your childhood, whatever, and what started all those, like, those negative thoughts and what you thought you were as a person back then. You know, it tells you, how do you find meaning in what you do? Like, why do you choose what you did and why you keep going towards it? And it teaches you how to be more grateful, you know? And we hear it all the time, but when you hear it told in a certain way, there's just something about it that kind of captured me. So that one was a really good one. And it talks about all the importance of relationships, like really good friendships, you know, like actually having people that you can talk, and not just like immediate friends. I'm talking about like people you can meet around the world. Learning how to talk with people. Yeah. You know, and not having anything to want to take from it, but just to want to get to know someone. Simple as that. And how that has so much meaning behind it, you know, and how that can translate to what you do professionally as well. And just, there's just a lot of things intertwined with what we do, and that we're just missing out on. And that's what that book talked about. And also how to focus more on the positive than all the negative, because it is so easy. And I think it's a part of the human condition to just like focus on the negative.
Oh my God. Have you seen the media?
I mean, it's insane. Like how much negativity there is. I guess it's just like more addicting. It's intriguing to watch something dramatic or something that's going wrong rather than something going right, you know?
It's easier to be angry than it is happy, but I've trained myself to do the opposite. And you know me, I'm a genuinely a private person, and like I was talking about it on one of my episodes, like when I get good news, I want to share it with everybody. You know, it's awesome. I want to make everybody smile and say congratulations or whatever. I want to hear that from other people. Bad news, it's like, all right, listen, this is real life. I got to deal with it myself. I don't need to bring the world to it. Like, you know, let me not burden you. There's already so many, and it's not that I don't want to burden anybody with it too. It's just that there's already so many bad. It takes no effort at all to find something wrong with the world, but it takes effort to actually find good in the world, or from you. Like I bet you right now, here's a social experiment. Like, what is the last bad thing you did, right? I could easily think of the last bad thing I did. But if somebody were to ask you, okay, what's the last good thing that you did? I feel like a lot of people have to be like, all right, hold on, let me sit down and think about that. And I feel like that says something.
Yeah, people focus more on the negative with anything they do. It's terrible.
People will remember, it's something like people will remember the last bad thing you did, but you got to do like 10 things to make up for it for them to forget about that one last bad thing you did.
Yep. And dude, like, get this, man. Okay, so I lived in Spain, Madrid, when I was young. I was like maybe 4, I think. Super young. And I still remember it. You know why I remember it?
Something fucked up happened.
Something fucked up happened.
What happened?
My teacher, and I guess it was the culture back then, but my teacher, and I still remember her name. That says something right there,
Fuck
too.
it. What's her name? Name drop her.
Her name was Maku.
And
all my brothers, they would remember. My brother remembers her too.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not the only one.
Like both Eric and Brian?
Yeah, they both remember her. And Eric wasn't even in school back then, but Brian, he remembers her.
You remember? Oh, I gotta bring him on.
My parents remember her too.
I gotta bring him on.
We have a picture of this teacher from freaking like
what happened?
So
what this bitch do?
This was just back in the day. The culture was different. I guess I was being a bad kid, and I got whipped in front of the whole class a couple times.
Yeah.
You know, didn't have homework. Well, there's one time where I was trying to do like an eating contest. Yeah, I tried to eat as many chicken nuggets as I could, trying to beat this kid. It was so stupid. And
what the worst thing to lose that? Oh, yeah, what happened? I didn't eat as much chicken nuggets as that guy.
No, it was the worst because I won, but then I threw up. And because
you won.
I threw up, the teacher came in and then whipped me in front of the whole cafeteria kind of thing. Damn. Yeah, so that just ingrained in my brain.
Yeah.
And I still remember it clear as day. And I'm almost 30 years old now. I'm about to turn 31. That says something right there. But I don't remember anything good from that time.
Damn.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't remember anything good that really happened in Madrid. Just those 2 negative things, like the 2 times where I got whipped or whatever for the whole class. Like
PTSD.
What is that? Is that just how the brain works? Like what? That's crazy.
I'm in psychology class right now, and I'm actually learning about some stuff about the brain, and that's kind of funny. And my psychology teacher, she's pretty cool. If you told her that story, she'll like dissect it and try to figure out. She'll be like, she's a therapist too. Like she'll be like, why does that bother you, Steven? What happened?
I mean, okay, what's crazy about that? It's not like I never not did my homework again. It's not like I learned from that. All I did was get scarred from nothing. It. You know what I mean? There are still times where I didn't do my homework. There's still times where I still I didn't do an eating contest, but I wasn't like the best kid ever, you know? Yeah. Like that stuff doesn't really it just scars you, you know? I don't what was the point of that? I don't know.
Wait, what's her name again?
Maku.
It's like
I wonder if she's still out there. Man.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
I just thought it was something funny. It's like she whips you, and then years later, you're still a kid. You do something bad. Your mom whips you, and then you're like, "No, Maku," and she's like, "What?" And it's like, "Oh, I'm reliving."
My parents did a couple times, but I don't remember it as much as Maku. That says something right there too.
Something.
Because there was an add-on.
What did she use?
There was an add-on to being whipped in front of everyone that you don't know, like a crowd of little kids.
Did people laugh?
Oh yeah. Oh. So they just added to it. The embarrassment, you know, and it just the fuel of that. If you get whipped in your house, it's different. I mean, yeah, you don't do whatever you did again, but just getting whipped for the whole class like multiple times, like come on.
I know. Like I remember living with my brother and. He would get whipped. I would laugh, and they'd be like, "You're next." I'm like, "I didn't do anything." Or I would get whipped. My brother would laugh, "You're next." I didn't do anything.
Wow. Did you really not do anything, or you just thought you didn't?
I don't fucking remember.
You probably did.
I probably did. I don't fucking remember. Oh man, but what did she use though? Did she use a bell? Did she use?
No, I think it was like the paddle or something.
Paddle.
Yeah.
Fuck. I think
again, I don't even think it was the pain. I think it was just the embarrassment.
The embarrassment. No. Okay. So I want to say something really fucked up, but I don't give a fuck. So I'm not advocating for violence. I'm not advocating for, parents beating their child. All I'm gonna say is that one time I was at the grocery store and I was acting a fool. I was being really stupid with my brother. It was me, my brother, and my dad. We were being really stupid. Then my dad spanked me, and there was several people in the grocery aisle, and they were laughing and like a little bit like that. Except it wasn't class full of kids and stuff. It was just like a couple of adults, and they were laughing. They're like, "Oh yeah, teacher boy," back in the good old days, right? And so my dad would hit me, and then after that, and I was crying. After that, like it made me go, like, you know what? That sucked. I'm not gonna act a fool. I'm just gonna like fucking be right next to him. I'm not gonna play with my brother. I'm just gonna fucking. I don't want to get whipped again. So I'm just like whatever. And so that being said, like it didn't scar me in a way. It made me go like, all right, don't fucking do what I just did. I was acting a fool. I'm not advocating for violence. I'm not saying parents should beat their kids. I'm just saying my dad hit me. I got straight real quick. That's all I'm gonna say. Because it's a hot button issue. It's like, oh, child services. It's like, no, I'm not gonna say it.
I mean, parents is a different thing, but getting whipped in front of the whole class, I'm glad that's over.
Yeah,
that's all I gotta say.
Dude, that sucks. I mean, I remember when I was in the first grade or kindergarten. It's one of who cares? But it was in elementary school. I did something stupid. I remember the teacher going like, "Oh, stand in the corner." And I remember standing in the corner, and I was like, "This is it? That's punishment? All right, cool, whatever." No, actually, I wasn't even standing in the corner. I think I was sitting in the corner. It was like, grab your chair and sit in the corner.
The classic, like, just time out.
Yeah, so I was just there twiddling my thumbs. I was like, all right, cool. That's it. All right. This is punishment?
For an active kid, that is torture.
Yeah, true. But I was just like, but even, I was still an active kid. But I was just like, okay. All right.
Well, good thing you saw it that way. A lot of kids don't.
Okay, good. All right. Then I guess that's punishment. I remember, I remember being upset. Like I was joking around with kids and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden, the teacher isolates me, puts me in the corner. Sure, like that initial sucks, but again, take it from me getting whipped at home, not confirming or denying. But I was just like, okay, this is punishment. I'll take it. I'll fucking take it. And I mean, to each their own. Everybody punishes different, but all I'm saying, when I got spanked, I was like, I'm not doing whatever I did to deserve that again.
I mean, yeah.
And we're Dominican too, so I mean,
I would hope you learn. And now, as an adult, we're getting spanked, but just in different ways.
Oh,
it's all mental now. Like,
oh, I thought you were gonna go
slapped
sexual.
in the face. No. Oh shit! Wow.
You were like, now we're all the way. You literally took a pause.
Bad.
You said you were like, oh, now we're adults. We're getting spanked in different ways. I was like, wow, Steven.
I meant like mentally,
I know I'm dropping the F-bombs here, but it's not necessarily a kid friendly.
I mean, yeah, probably. I mean, there's probably a lot, whatever.
Again, to each their own.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but yeah, that's actually something you're onto something. People are punishing themselves probably a little too harshly. Again, kind of going back to the whole like, oh, you should have your life together, by the time of said age. People are punishing themselves, and it sucks.
Dude, this is the thing about success that I've realized, and I was doing a lot of research on success, especially after reading that book. There's this guy, Earl Nightingale, who wrote this book called The Strangest Secret. And I've been doing a lot of research on this, just the whole topic in general. And there was one quote that stuck out to me. He said that success is the...
I'm sorry.
Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal.
Yeah.
So whatever it is that you have, if it's a goal that you have, whatever it is, like a career choice, whatever that is, as long as you're progressing towards that and you're making the effort to get to that point, it could be working, being a manager at a grocery store, it doesn't matter. But if you're doing that and you're doing it well, and that's what you want to do, that's success. Doesn't matter what it is. If you have that,
I could.
There are people that wanted to be stay-at-home moms,
No, good for
and
that.
they love it and they're doing it so well.
No, great.
That's success.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You can't go to the end of their life and say they didn't live a successful life.
Yeah.
It's whatever they choose. As long as they do that well with whatever they choose, That's success. Just make sure you do it well.
That's awesome.
And there's a lot of people that are not. They're doing it half-assed.
Yeah.
A lot of people are just doing, oh, I'm just going to wait until I get to this point, or I'm going to do this temporary job until I get to that. Like, it's always waiting until the next hoop or the next hurdle, you know? That's when I'm going to start doing better and more professional things or whatever. And that's not right. You got to do whatever is in front of you. Find a way to love it or move on to something else.
You know, like, I'll push back a little bit on that. Like, I agree majority of that. But, like, you then you did say, like, if you don't love it, then move on to something else. Because the thing is, when I was serving at the other restaurant, not the one I'm with right now, I mean, I can say their name now, Bones. So when I was there, but I wasn't serving, I was just a server assistant, I fucking hated it. Like, the money was great, the benefits was great, but I fucking hated it. And, like, I hated almost every minute of my life. I enjoyed some of the people I met. Some of them sucked, but and they know who they are. But yeah, like, it sucks so bad. And then that's what caused me to snap, to say, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. And I'm not saying that, like, that I enjoy what I'm doing now, but I do see the expiration date, and that actually puts a smile on my face to know that, okay, there is an ending to this. I just gotta grind. And with that grind comes a bit of, like, you know, like, pride. Like, yeah, other people would break, but I'm not gonna break. I'm gonna endure this, and only to get to that. And I mean, you're absolutely right in that, dude. It's absolutely right that you do gotta love what you're doing, and you gotta be the best at what you're doing. And you got to love it. If you don't love it, move on to something else. Absolutely. And I think a lot of people would agree. The only part that I would push back is that it builds a little bit of callous if you're able to endure some of the suck. And I was talking about this briefly on one of my episodes. It's like, you know, when something bad happens, instead of, like, pointing fingers and blaming others, start saying good to it. Be like, okay, good, I need a challenge. And in a way, like, it's so easy. It's so easy to look at your neighbor and check out their yard, and it's greener. All right, cool. Focus on your yard. Okay, stop worrying about other people's yards. Focus on your yard. Like, okay, it's not as green. Okay, get to work. Oh man, but there's so many things in my way. Start saying good. You need a challenge. You know what? You need to tackle challenge A, accomplish that, and be like, yes, I beat that. Now let me move on to challenge B. Man, this is hard. This sucks. You accomplish problem B, and then you're like, yes, I won. I succeeded in something. And I mean, I know what I'm saying is super cliche, but then when it comes down to passing down, say you were to have kids and you were to pass it down, you're not passing down, like, money or wealth. You're going to also pass down knowledge. Like, listen, yes, your life is going to be easier than how I had it, and good. I want it to be that. That's my reward. But I'm going to let you learn all the things I've learned and the things I wish I would have known your age. It's not like you're gonna know struggle. Like, I'm not gonna, like, you know, drive you off 20 miles and be like, oh, here's a map, find your way home. No. But you are also going to say, like, hey, listen, even though I grind to make your life easier, I want you to appreciate every freaking moment of it, you know? And yes, you're going to go through what I went through. You're going to go through a point where, like, life sucks. Trust me, I've been there. And I've been there way worse than you. But guess what? You're going to have the support of me and your mother, of other family members, and we're going to get past this. But the way I had it, imagine what you're going through without what I had or whatever you had. And I mean, I do think a lot of people in today's time don't think about that in a way where, or they don't appreciate their struggle in a way. I'm not saying to rub it in people's faces, like, one up people. That shit's annoying, you know that. But it's like, start appreciating your struggle. Know that you're going to accomplish this and be like, that wasn't able to stop me. and you think you're gonna stop me, like, good luck.
Yeah. No, dude, honestly, that's a part of that.
Yeah.
Learning to do that and do it well is all encapsulated into one thing. As long as you're going in a progressive state towards that goal. You can love the struggle, or not even love the struggle, but you know how to endure it.
Mm-hmm.
You know how to overcome that. Yeah, that's a part of that. But as long as you're going towards that goal, in the end, that's what success is. That's what it's geared towards. Because there's nothing that there's no goal. If honestly, if there's a goal that you can easily attain in like a year or so and you're good, that's probably not a big enough goal. You know?
When you went going through, like, you know, kind of give people about you with a little bit of cinematography real quick, where was there ever a time you wanted to give up?
Yeah.
Like, talk
I feel
about
like
that.
anybody creative has gotten to that, and we've all hit that creative rut.
I always said, if you never, not even creative, if you never thought about giving up, you haven't been pushed to your limits. Like working out, if you never ran, and then like when you're running and then got to the point where you're just like, oh, fuck, all right, you know what, this is worthless, this is dumb, you haven't been pushed to your limits. If you're still running and you're like happy, like, oh yeah, I still can go more, then go more. I want you to go to you start having doubts, and then push back on those doubts, like push past those doubts.
That's what I was talking about before.
Yeah.
If you learn how to push past those times,
Yeah,
that's when you can truly learn a lot more about yourself than you ever thought.
that's so true.
It's incredible. I mean, you get to a point where, like how I said before, it's more than just passion at this
It
point.
is. Yeah, you're right.
Now you're building endurance. This dude's driving me crazy.
I'm sorry. I did tell him, I was like, I wonder if it picks it up though. Do you think it does?
Yeah, it does.
Okay,
probably.
whatever.
But it's all good. I'm going to edit that part out, I guess.
Whatever. I mean, I don't think it can, but because we're talking, but oh well, whatever. Anyways,
but yeah, pushing past that will create that endurance.
Yeah,
and that'll allow you to push past a lot of things. Like things will constantly. You'll get to the point where that becomes normal. Like obstacles will come in your way, and you'll start to be like, okay, next obstacle, and you'll keep going past that because you're still going towards that goal.
Yeah.
Now you're used to those obstacles. You know.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's just another one coming.
Yeah.
You just have to dodge it. It's like Mario Kart.
Don't talk about Mario Kart with me. But it's so real quick. Like turn around to you. What happened with you that made you want to give up, but you didn't? Because see, here's my thing. Like real quick, and maybe you'll get what I'm trying to get at. You and I talked about like all these success stories of like, especially actors and stuff. The dude from The Office, I always fuck up his last name, but you were able to get it right. Who plays Jim? It's like John
Krasinski.
I always fuck up that last name. And you were telling me about his story, about, you know, and his success in The Office and all that stuff, and then other people. It's and I'm not knocking that. Like people who grind, and not just in acting, just in general, but it's just so happens in the creative field you hear this more, where people, you know, they fucking grind, and then right there they're on the verge of giving up, but they didn't. You know, I want to talk to them. I want to be like, okay, what happened? We hear these success stories and their success and all that stuff, obviously, but I want to dive deeper. I want to talk about, especially with you, what you were there, you were about to give up. I mean, me too, but like I want to hear from you. Like you were about to give up. What something must have happened, something you must have said or heard that made you go from point A to point B to be like, no, you know what, fuck it, I'm not giving up. Like, no, I just can't.
I mean, it's funny because I've had quite a few of those actually.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of grateful for all of them, to be honest, because each one I've learned a new part of myself.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes it can stem from resentment. It can stem from something super negative that happened. I mean, there was one time where I just was constantly not home, you know, just constantly on the road, just feeling like it got to the point where I was doing the same thing over and over again, and I was going in a cycle, and I didn't have the time to recover. in order to keep progressing to the next thing. Because that's always what I love the most about filmmaking, is that everything is a constant progression. I love how the next film is going to be better and the next one's going to be better. I'm going to try different lighting setups, whatever. But I got to a point where I was doing the same thing over and over. I was getting into this survival mode. And I got to that and I was like, oh, where am I going to go from here? I reached the plateau and I was just like, I don't have the time to breathe to actually figure out the next step.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if I wanted to keep doing that, you know? And it's crazy. I mean, those long hours, they can add up, you know, and you think that passion can get you past that.
Yeah.
You really do. Oh, my love for movies can get me past that. My love for my inspiration for this thing I want to do is whatever. Like, a lot of people have that, and yeah, that can get you pretty far, but that will not get you past those moments. And you will have those moments with whatever career you choose. And for me, I think it was those self-reflections that got me through it. Yeah. Learning to just sit with those feelings, like learning to just allow them to, you know, play its course, play whatever it's going to play in my own head, you know. And I took my time to recover, thank God. And I was able to come back.
Yeah.
And when I came back, I was a lot stronger than I was, like, just mentally, you know.
Yeah.
And of course, it happened again. But
it's always going to happen.
It happened in a different way, different situation, different whatever. I'm not going to name any names or name a situation exactly, but you know, every time those happen, I learned something new, you know, about myself. And it's incredible to know that I'm able to withstand that. That taught me, it gave me the confidence to know that I can push past it.
What about when you were in school? Anything in particular when you were in school that, you know, prevented you from, like, you know, dropping out or anything?
That prevented me?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean, I guess you never went there. Like, you know, did you ever almost wanted to give up on school? Like, oh man, what the fuck's the point of this?
Yeah. I mean, this is the biggest thing, is choosing this field, choosing a creative profession is not an easy task, you know? It's not something you just be like, yeah, I'm good and I'll be set for life.
What? This is the first time I'm hearing about this.
You know? And yeah, you can say that with any profession, but you know, a lot of people know that the creative field is you know, it's very unstable.
What?
It can be very, like,
no way.
Yeah, it can be very up and down and just kind of, you know.
Never heard this.
The industry can be very chaotic, and it's very
bullshit.
A select few people, and you have to know the right people. Unfortunately, that's how it's working.
You mean hard work and good ethics doesn't get me there?
Me being that little bright little kid, being like, I'm gonna push past all that and be like, I'm gonna get into the industry and I'm not gonna have any issues.
You mean to tell me right here on my damn show that I can't be like one of those anime characters and be like, as long as I believe in my friends and all that stuff, and I'm gonna be the best, that I'm not gonna be the best? I gotta know the right people. Fuck you, Steven.
Hate to be the bearer of bad news, man. But
that joke would have been a lot funnier if you actually did watch anime, because that's how it is.
I watched Dragon Ball Z. That's about it.
I mean, Dragon Ball Z. Everybody watches Dragon Ball Z.
That was the only one.
No, but there's really jokingly there are those animes, mainly in Shonen Jump, where the main character is always like this like young kid, and he's like, the power of friendship, and I want to be the best, and as long as I be like stay on my course, I'm going to be the best. And they do eventually, and I'm still waiting on them to make that one anime where he's not the best, he just ends up working as a janitor.
I mean, yeah, that is, some people need to get slapped.
Not saying that janitors aren't heroes. Man. We need janitors.
Yeah.
Oh man, but no,
it's a harsh reality, man.
But see, I mean, you're absolutely right, and but like, and that's what I was trying to get at, is like, you know, especially in school, because you were still working at Lifetime, you were working at a gym, you know, just maintenance, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was maintaining the locker rooms as my kind of my part-time.
Yeah,
as I was doing a lot of freelance gigs and doing some short films and some docs, and yeah, that's how I was making it through.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you hear that stereotype of, you know, college kids being broke as hell and all that stuff. So like, obviously, you probably had some starry-eye moments where you're just like, no, if I just keep my head down, like I'm gonna make good money. Like, yeah, I know the profession it's super cutthroat. You got to know the right people, but I am going to be that statistic. I'm going to be the one that makes it. And so, you know, but there had to be moments where you're just like, man, fuck, what if I'm not? What if I'm the statistic that doesn't make it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how do you push back that?
That's the ultimate fear that stops most people from doing anything.
Yeah.
And for me, that was the
we
biggest
talked
thing.
about fear, how it can paralyze you.
I didn't even, choosing this career, I honestly, I could not see myself doing something else. I tried so hard to see myself doing business or just any other kind of profession. I'm sure I could, but
see, that's funny because I was going to say that.
I couldn't see myself putting as much as I'm putting into this with anything else, Like, you could see what I'm doing now and be like, how do you keep going and doing that? Like, a lot of it is because I really can't see myself doing anything else. I feel like a lot of my skill set and what I think about every single day drives towards that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just kind of, I don't know. I've like learned to hardwire myself into that, like, pushing past that. And I love being able to get those creative, moments out of my brain more than it's probably possible, because like there are times where it's just like you have nothing. Yeah. There's nothing left in there. Like, you just gotta figure it out. And you're just sitting there in front of the computer just trying to edit this thing. And you're like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. And something sparks, like a music piece that you hear or whatever, and just kind of like brings you back in. You're like, okay, cool. And it just like gets you in that zone. Mm-hmm. I love that. It's called the creative flow state. Yeah. And once you get in that mode, it's just like nothing can touch you. It's like the ultimate drug. Yeah. Honestly. And that's what I love the most is like feeling like that ultimate, like untouchable, like nothing can touch you. You're ultimately in that creative state. Yeah. And you're telling a story that you're passionate about and you love and that you feel like it's going to make an impact somehow. Mm-hmm. That's why I do that. And that helps me push past a lot of the bullshit.
Yeah, no, like, have you ever had this thought? I've had this moment. There's a couple of videos on YouTube of inspirational speeches that I'll listen to before I like work out or before I go to school. Like, really trying to just get inspired, right? And all these videos, when I would watch them or listen to them, I get that like first spark. It's never enough to start a huge fire, but it's enough to light a spark and that to get started. Then I gotta start moving, right? So I have several of these videos, and I knew shit was getting real and like serious when I would watch these videos and I didn't feel nothing. And that's when, but it's funny because when I don't feel nothing and I like it's not lighting that spark, it's whatever, I roll my eyes. But then one day, thank God, I caught myself. I felt like I had like this outer body experience where I caught myself not caring in the moment, and it scared the shit out of me because I was like, holy shit, this usually it's enough to spark something, and then I use that spark to go and move and work, and then that starts the fire, and it didn't. And I realized right then and there that sometimes it's not enough to hear somebody be inspirational. It's not enough to watch like a movie that you gravitate towards or music you gravitate towards. In the end of the day, it comes down to you. Like, and when like I'm still in a battle, grasping that, but I'm glad now I know that it comes down to me. Because I don't know if it comes down, like, if you've realized that for yourself, but I realized how powerful I really am. Like, that, yes, there are some moments where, like, God or whatever you believe will put me in a crappy situation. But now, even, like, I'll still say, like, oh, man, fuck this situation. But I'll still, now, like, summon some strength inside me where I'm like, okay, I know I have all the tools, I have all the money, I have whatever I need to get out of this situation. Maybe I don't have all the money I need, but I know I have the will and like the knowledge, the intelligence to get through this situation. It could be something as simply, because this happened to me before. Like, I know this is anecdotal, but I remember working as a animal I was working at an animal hospital as a receptionist, and I just left the restaurant. I wasn't making as much money as I was at the restaurant. I took a huge pay cut. It's okay to take a pay cut. It's not okay to take a huge pay cut. And I've told you a little bit of this story, that my car broke down, and I barely had any money. I was living paycheck to paycheck, and I never lived paycheck to paycheck. And I was just like, just so mad at the world. But then, like, at the end of me just like cussing up a storm, I realized, okay, you know what? I have all the tools I need to get out of this situation. I just need to think clearly and get out of this situation. And actually, even before this podcast, what's funny is I was actually in a similar little rut. Uh, uh, like I called you before you were coming over, and I was like, hey, I don't think I could do this podcast. Like, both microphones work, but one of them isn't working the way it needs to work. A friend of mine, she called me on the phone, and she's not tech savvy, and I was just like, man, like, and she was like, what's going on? And I was like explaining this to her. I was just like so frustrated. I was just like, I don't know what to do. Well, I do know what to do. I'm just gonna go to Guitar Center. I'm just gonna buy a whole nother microphone and all that stuff. And then she was like, so why isn't the microphone working? And as I was explaining this to her, I realized something. I realized, wait a minute, it can work. I just need to do a certain thing. I just need to plug it into a different source. And I mean, there's more to it, to the story. I'm just making it short, just to make it short. And then I realized, oh my God. And I was like thanking her. I was like, oh my God, I can fucking kiss you right now. Holy shit, I got this. Thank you. I just needed to talk out loud, because normally when I get upset, I keep everything inside. Not like I won't talk to anybody about it. I was obviously, yelling at her ear, but like, you and I were talking about it, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go to Guitar Center. But I needed to talk it out because I end up finding another solution. And you know, like, I mean, again, just for me personally, that you know, and I'm so appreciative because now we're doing this podcast, and I know we're gonna, end it soon. But it just, I'm so grateful for that hardship, because that small little hiccup, because now the end result is this. And but I was frustrated. What people don't see is I was frustrated literally like 3 hours ago, 4 hours ago. I was frustrated. I was like, fuck, I won't be able to do this. I was looking forward to this. But now here it is. And I think, like, in the moment I didn't appreciate the hardship. But I was able to sit down, not calmly, but I was able to work it out. And I do think that's something some people need to learn. And if you want to add to something about that, like, it's not necessarily appreciating the hardship, but it's understanding, like, you are really, it sounds so cliche, it really does, but people need to realize they are way more powerful than they fucking realize. They have all the tools. They might not see it. It's not clear as day. It wasn't clear as day for me with my struggle, but it's there. I promise you, it's fucking there. It's you got to calm down a bit, and then, like, start thinking about all your options, if you want to add to that.
Yeah, man. There's this. I think it was like some picture I saw. It was some analogy that Earl Nightingale, again the same guy, he was talking about how he saw a construction worker next to a giant construction crane. It was like some big machinery that they used to, like, of course, like build buildings and stuff, and it was massive, right? And it was being manned by this little guy with a little remote. So this entire thing was being literally controlled by this remote by the guy. And he was seeing that, giant piece of machinery as our minds, and we are the person controlling it with that remote.
Oh, wow.
And when you see it like that, that's how monstrous our minds, and that's how powerful our minds really are. Our minds are just tools. And if we can somehow learn to control that and transform our own thoughts, because we become what we think we are. That is the biggest thing, you know? And he talks all about that in his book as well. But we literally become our thoughts. People now, I mean, they have to realize, like, where did the negativity come from, you know? And they go back to their childhood, whatever it started. And people focus on the negative. We talked about the negativity and all that. But you think about it, we have to literally rewire our brains to start thinking more positive. If you have to become fake almost and learn to start controlling the mind and say, hey, that's not real. Whatever negativity that your mind is bringing that you think is protecting you from those moments, learn to stop harping on those and harp on the positive. And you just keep doing that. There's a whole like workshop that he does. He's like 30 days. If you could just do that for 30 days, that's it. Your whole life will change.
Jesus.
Just focus on positivity and learn to stop harping on the negative. Like right now, the negative is just outweighing so much and it's stopping everyone. That's where fear and anxiety and all that, that's where all that lives. Mm-hmm. And people think that's the only way to stay motivated and the only way to do things and whatever. But if you learn to flip those, I'm not talking about like being in some fairy tale like fantasy land, like, oh, only positive, there's nothing bad or whatever. I'm talking about having a balance.
Yeah.
To the where you get to the point where you're focusing on the positive more than the negative. You'll literally start to control this tool that you have in your brain, like this powerful tool. You start to tell yourself, literally ingrain it in your subconscious of what you want to do. You have a goal to achieve. Start telling yourself you are that. You literally start telling yourself you are whatever you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And your subconscious will start working for you. Like, this is a powerful tool. You start letting it work for you. I mean, just keep doing it no matter what. Just keep telling yourself over and over and over. That's what this guy talks about. And that's where I get it from. It's just incredible. And I've been trying to do that for a while now with cinematography. And that kept me going through all of that craziness. I am a cinematographer. I am doing this field. I am the professional in this field. I keep doing that, and it's harping, and I see it in my subconscious. Whenever there's an issue comes up, my mind automatically is like helping me get through that too. I'm finding ways to solve issues instead of just harping on the crap or the negativity, you know? And I think it would help a lot of people.
Damn, dude. No, that's fucking powerful. What's the book and the dude's name again, so people can look that up?
Yeah, it's called The Strangest Secret.
By who?
Earl Nightingale.
I'm gonna check that out personally. Yeah, man. That sounds fucking interesting. But
it's an old one too, man. But it's a good one. And that's why it's called The Strangest Secret, because it's an old like philosophy. Yeah. It's been around since the Roman age. You see Marcus Aurelius, he has the same idea. He has I think he has a quote. I can't say it exactly, but it's like the men become what their thoughts, what they make of them. You know? Thoughts are powerful.
Damn, dude. No, I honestly, when you said that, it makes me want to look that up. For real, I'm actually gonna look at that.
Yeah.
So, dude, we almost did 2 hours. Like, it's fucking awesome. But real quick, there's these two questions I want to ask you before we go. Both cinematography related, but actually one of them is kind of not necessarily cinema. It could be, just in general. So first question is, in your own words, what makes a great cinematographer? In your opinion, what makes a great cinematographer? Like, when you watch a movie or when you watch a video, what are you looking for to make you go like, oh, that was great. Okay, this guy knows what he's doing. Is it just simply knowing how to point a camera and hitting record? Because I'll be honest, that's how I see it. Like, being ignorant.
No, yeah. So cinematography is the art of visual storytelling. Yeah. Right. And I think it was Roger Deakins who first kind of said this, but he sees cinematography as a way to guide the story. And if you can do it in a way where the cinematography does not distract from the story, you did it right. That's success. You did your job right. If you get to a point where everyone's harping on the cinema, oh my God, I love that shot. That was a good shot, or that was a beautiful shot, or whatever it is, constantly. But no one talks about the story, you failed. You're
Really?
too flashy.
Ah, I mean, I can see that.
That means you were making selfish decisions on the set or whatever you were doing,
Do you think it's the
Because it's all
cinematographer's
about
fault
the
or the
story.
director's fault?
I mean, who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
It could be. But, I mean, there was a film, Blade Runner, 2049.
Okay. I was about to say there's two.
Yeah,
Which one?
2049. And everyone's talking about the cinematography, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Roger Deakins actually won Best Cinematography for that year. He won an Oscar for it. And I'm sure he like got up there and he was all thankful and grateful, but I'm sure in his head he's probably like, man, that was purely a show, like it was like every shot felt like it was like a poem,
Yeah.
beautiful. Everyone was just talking about only the cinematography and nothing else. Everyone thought the story was boring.
Oh,
and
shit.
it was very
I
just
actually did not know
slow
that.
burn. It took too long. They should have cut it, whatever. But everyone was talking about the cinematography. So in his head, yes, it was beautiful. He did the job right to a regular person's eyes or whatever, but
Mhm.
I'm sure he probably thought that he failed on that one. Damn. So I looked at that, and I like that philosophy a lot.
Yeah.
If you can get it, the whole point of a movie or a story is to immerse you into the story.
Absolutely.
That's why we watch movies.
Yeah. I mean,
We like pretty pictures and all that, but the art of the actual filmmaking in general is the story and focusing, if you can immerse yourself into that so much, where you get into the characters and, the music kind of, adds to that. And then the cinematography is just there to guide that as well. That's a successful movie.
No,
I like that philosophy. So when I see cinematography, yes, I look for pretty pictures.
Yeah.
I love that. But I also love when they can set their own ego aside and use it to guide the story more.
No, I'm with you 100% on that. Like, you do bring up a really good point. I never thought of it that way. That, honestly, no lie, that literally blew my mind, because there are movies and TV shows where I've seen and I'm like, man, that was such a great shot. And then, but if you were to tell me, all right, what happened in that story, I'm like, fuck, I actually don't remember. I just remember the shot.
It happens a lot.
Oh my
nowadays.
God, dude, that literally fucking blew my mind.
The shows nowadays, whatever it is, but a lot of people are focusing more on how beautifully it was shot and all that. That's good. That's cool. Whatever attracts you to that show, it's cool. But I mean, I love that feeling of being immersed into a story. Damn. That's like the ultimate, like,
dude, you have no idea. That literally fucking blew my mind. Like, I'm like, I can't get over that. Like, holy shit, damn.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I feel like it's not dying at all, but I feel like, a lot of people are just so focused on the pretty pictures and the IMAX, the biggest, highest quality 8K footage, whatever, and that's good. You can do that if that floats your boat and you have the money for it. But if it doesn't guide the story, it's like there's no need to completely distract.
Yeah.
Damn. And that's how I feel a lot about even lighting techniques and all that. Sometimes I try to, like, what in the frame draws your eye to a certain thing in the image or in that frame. And a lot of people put a lot of flares and a lot of like crazy textures in the background. That's cool because it looks cool. But does that guide the story? Does your eye get drawn to the character and what the character is going through? Or is it just like look cool to be like, okay, cool shot, move on?
No, there are that. Like me, I'm not in really the creative world. I even though I like acting and I wish to do it, it's not. I'm not in the technical world whatsoever. But hearing you say that oh my God, again, it just shattered a reality. It's like that How I Met Your Mother with the glass shattering. It literally was like, oh my God, I never thought of it that way. There are moments where I can tell you, I'm like, man, that was beautifully shot. What happened in that, DJ? Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah, that's sad. Sometimes. Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. So final question. What advice you would give to somebody, wanting to start, so whether it's cinematography or just in general, like real quick, let me go ahead and say this for my part. Uh, like with this podcast is such a great example. Okay, it. I mean, I told the story, but again, for the thousandth time, somebody literally yelled at me and was like, "Just fucking start, just do it." You're going like you don't know what you need to upgrade. You don't know what you need to fix till you fucking start. And it was so true. Like my buddy Brady, I mentioned him before. When I recorded episode 0 and I uploaded that on YouTube, I went to work and Brady was like, "Hey man, I saw episode 0 and it was really great. I just have one critique." And I was like, "Yeah, you know what? I love constructive criticism. Give it to me." He was like, "You need a bigger table. You need like a longer table. That table you had in episode 0. People can look at that right now. I'm not gonna take it down because it just shows my progression." Brady literally was like, and I'm gonna bring him onto the show and he's gonna talk about that. Brady literally was like, "You need a longer table." So you know what I did? He told me to build a table, and I went on YouTube to see like to build a table, and I want to actually start learning how to build shit, but it was like gonna take me like 2 days to build, and I was like, you know, screw it, let me just go buy something. So I went to IKEA and I bought this table, and when I put it on the show for like the official episode 1, I went to Brady and I was like, "Hey, did you see that table?" And he was like, "I did. Hey, way better now." So I'm always looking for constructive criticism. But for me, that dude Ryan, who I mentioned before, he was absolutely right. Just start, because when I started with episode 0 and episode 1, I started slowly seeing things that I needed to upgrade, things that I needed to improve on the show, and for myself as well. So for me, it like, and I hate it too because I want to be able to give a specific advice. So if somebody were to tell me, "Hey DJ, how to get started," not that they should be listening to me anyways, I would say, listen, just start, and you're gonna make mistakes, but you get, and you're gonna be embarrassed. Like I know I don't feel embarrassed on episode 0 or episode 1, anything that I've uploaded so far. I'm not embarrassed by them. I'm proud of them. But I know that when I continue on, when I get to like episode 100, I'm gonna look back on an episode 0 and be like, "What the fuck was I thinking?" But you know what? I'm gonna keep it there because again, it just shows my progression, right? So for me, it again, it's so vague, but honestly, just start. You're going to see what you need to upgrade. You're gonna do something and be like, "You know what? I need another tripod," or "You know what? I need some light filter right here." But you need to start in order to see things. And honestly, I didn't see that for myself. I started seeing slowly just small things that I didn't think about. Oh, I needed a clamp here and there. It's something you could easily get at Home Depot, but I didn't know that till I started. Till I started. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So for you, I know I rambled on too long with that, but for you, what advice would you give to somebody, you know, wanting to start either cinematography or just in general? Like, Steven, I want to start, but I don't know how.
You know, it's funny, like going into film school and all that, I had the same problem of like, "Oh, how do I start? Where do I go? I'm going to go to film school. That's going to be my start," or whatever. For me, it was skateboarding. For me, it was like just learning how to pick up the camera and just doing things. The biggest thing that I would tell anyone that's trying to get into this thing, trying to get into anything creative, honestly,
Okay.
learn how to finish projects.
And you said that earlier, actually. Yeah.
Starting is easy. Starting any cool idea you have, a cool short film, a cool script, a cool little video that you're trying to do with your friends, whatever it is, starting it is always easy. And I've started so many. We actually tried to do a short film one time and I got overwhelmed and I could not finish it. And I could not tell you how many people I know that have started so many things that it could not finish it. And learning how to teach yourself to start finishing projects and start to drop a little bit, not saying like to just, you know, put out bullshit or, you know, crap out there. I'm just saying to drop a little bit of that expectation on it's got to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be absolutely perfect. No, take those times where you're learning on those first couple projects, finish it, and use that extra energy or whatever things that you wanted to do for that project, use it for the next one and keep building on it for the next one and next one. You learn how to finish projects, and you'll take that for whatever you do in the future, because a lot of people don't know how to do it. Finish it and then keep moving on to the next one.
You know, I hear you, and honestly, I'm taking this to heart as well.
No,
for
yeah,
me,
and it still goes along with the creative aspect as well.
It does. It absolutely does.
And you have to have that kind of like that. It's called grit, where you're able to push past a lot of that, that craziness.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest thing that I wish that I knew, and I'm going back to that original question, was that ability to finish stuff.
Yeah.
Because, man, there's so many open
because you did say it was patience, and I guess back then you didn't have the patience to finish something. You probably like set some mental deadline in your head that you were like, oh, I have to finish this by next week. Oh, next week I'm not close. All right, then it's trash, right? Yeah.
You just throw it away. The minute it's kind of bad, you throw it away. You move, oh, I'm not good enough, or I don't feel like this is good, or whatever. You just throw it away.
Yeah.
And
do you think it's because people tackle on more than they can chew? Because I've done that. I've done that before. You might have done that before.
What's amazing is I see it a lot with film students. It doesn't have to be a crazy high budget sci-fi film for your student.
Right? Okay.
Right? Well, the crazy ass script is like 40 pages long with like all these crazy stunts and VFX work. It doesn't have to be, man.
It doesn't have to be.
You can tell an amazing story with just two actors in like a basement or something.
You really could. And you know what? Like,
that'll teach you a lot about working with crew, about working with actors, about working with just the cameras in general.
Yeah.
The technical aspect, the pre-pro, everything. You can learn all of that just by doing it repetitively.
Yeah.
But you have to learn how to continuously finish projects.
I don't know if you've heard this before. If you know the name, please tell me the name. I can't remember the name. Somebody can easily Google this. Somebody once said something like, it kind of reminds me of that Spider-Man quote, like, with great power comes great responsibility. Somebody said something along the lines of, the greater the restriction, the greater the creativity. Like I think the same person said, if I gave you a red crayon and told you to draw grass, what would you do? If I gave you a black crayon and told you to draw the ocean, what would you do? And it's like, oh wow, okay, because when you want to draw the ocean, you think of the color blue. If you think of grass, you think of the color green. So someone hands you the opposite crayon and said, hey, draw this, what would you do? And it like, okay, the greater the restriction, it's like, crap, I have every color I need except the one I actually need. And I remember hearing that years ago, and it made me go like, wow, that's actually true. And you know what? I wish I would have learned that back then, especially when you and I were young in high school and when you were in early college, because I do think people do bite on more than they can chew, because there are starry-eyed. They do want to make that, like you said, the sci-fi kind of something 40 pages, but grab two actors, grab one actor in somebody's basement, make a fucking story off that. If you can make a compelling story off that, imagine what you could do with like now some money budget and stuff. You were able to tell a compelling story with $0. Imagine what you can tell with $1,000, $10,000, $1 million. Yeah. But like, damn, you hit the nail on the head again.
Learning how to start is
it's easy. It's finishing.
Picking up a camera, whatever it is, it's kind of easier, especially nowadays. You can get a camera for like $600 with a nice lens or whatever. Get some lights from Home Depot for like $20, whatever.
I got these lights from Amazon.
You can make a short film. You can do something with it. But finishing it is a whole different story.
That's so true.
I mean, like really finishing it, like learning how to actually. Like it's a war in your head. You're like, wow, this is what I did. I gotta just do it. But that is gonna help you progress more than anything else. Is learning how to get through that journey of getting through projects like that. They're even the crappy ones.
Yeah.
Finish them.
Damn. No, dude. So, honestly, I'm not.
That's probably the biggest thing I would say, but.
No, I mean, honestly, dude, I'm not just saying this because, you're like one of my best bros or whatever. But like, honestly, that was that was some compelling shit. Like, I do believe if people, watch this, take ego aside, take, I know DJ or I know Steven, they're gonna be like, oh wait, holy shit, what they said was actually, fuck DJ, what Steven said was actually really good, holy shit. But dude,
I hope someone hears that and kind of, because man, I struggled with that for so long, and it's just like I can't even projects I'm doing now. I'm just like I tell myself like just finish it, find a way to finish it.
Yeah.
Even telling yourself you got to find a way to finish it will help you, like, you'll start to even like it. There'll be some kind of a spark and be like, oh, I actually kind of like that at the end, because I figured it out.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just give up halfway through a project because it's not what they thought it was.
Yeah. And again, I was saying, like, that obstacle, and you were able to overcome it. If that obstacle, couldn't beat you, what obstacles can beat you, and dude, that's fucking awesome. And I'm glad honestly for you that you're able to have that mindset. And yes, you're gonna go through some struggle, but you understand, like, I'm gonna get through this. Yeah. It's not gonna be easy. It's gonna suck. I'm gonna bitch about it, but I'm gonna get through this. Yeah. So, Steven, we did fucking like 2 hours. This was awesome. We talked a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, thank you so much for, like, I knew right in my head, and other people can take offense. I really don't give a shit that, I wanted you to be my first guest. When I got the microphone and the camera, I was like, I want Steven to be my first guest, because you and I, we have good conversations. We're gonna have other conversations. I'm gonna bring you on to other times. And so, dude, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you for being my first guest.
Yeah, man. No worries.
All right, man. So
it's been awesome.
It's been awesome, right? Yeah. All right. Absolutely. So take care, guys. See ya.
Cool.